Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Blue Bounty Hunter channel. So you've probably seen this character before, and might be wondering, what's the deal with them? Well, what if I told you that they were one of the main Sith that George Lucas originally planned on having in his sequel trilogy, and that is just one of the many cool facts, like Talon's unique lightsaber hilt, and that she trained the long descendant of the Skywalker family that I will be discussing in this video, about the Sith that could have been. Talon was a Lethan Twi'lek, which meant she has the rarest skin color of red for her species, which was said to be 1 in a million, and the soon-to-be Sith was born and apprenticed under the One Sith, also known as the New Sith Order, which was a group that served Darth Krayt in a improved doctrine of Sith teachings that was based on the ancient Sith burial world Korriban. And Darth Krayt was actually a former Jedi that at one point had resided on the planet of Tatooine and actually had a bit of a run-in with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Trained as a Sith assassin by Darth Ruin, who was an older male Twi'lek that was also covered in Sith tattoos of red and black, Talon became a formidable warrior who was noted to be incredibly loyal to the head of One Sith, Darth Krayt, and was also strong when relying on the dark side of the Force. At the end of her training in 130 ABY, so way after really most of the stuff that we're used to seeing, she was ordered to kill her master, which she complied without hesitation in cold blood. This final act of no mercy led to Talon becoming a hand of Darth Krayt, making the Sith Lady one of the Emperor's most trusted assassins. Darth Talon's first mission as one of Krayt's hands was to use Princess Marasiah Fel in order to lure out Rowan Fel, who was the third emperor of the Fel dynasty, which was an established imperial family that had served with the Galactic Empire decades prior, and basically this group just believed in not using the dark side of the Force at all, but they still wielded lightsabers. And after traveling to Sakuro, she discovered the princess hiding in an imperial mission, and while Fel managed to escape, Talon did defeat and kill her mentor and protector, Elk Fetter, who was an imperial knight in combat, and she did this after first cutting off his arm and leg. I guess after this incident, she does earn the official Sith badge, as she just cut off someone's limbs. I'm pretty sure that's like a requirement or something for being in the Star Wars universe. But since the princess had fled with the imperial missionary Astral Vow by boarding the Mynock, which was a starship piloted by the bounty hunter Cade Skywalker, who had previously been a Jedi descendant of Cole Skywalker and Morrigan Cord. This forced Darth Talon to continue her pursuit of Marasiah Fel. Now moving into some traits and abilities that Darth Talon possessed, and Talon was skilled in lightsaber combat like most Sith, and performed a combination of Form 2 and Form 4, also known as Makashi and Ataru, due to her acrobatic flips and one-handed fighting style. Even though she had a relatively standard combat persona, her lightsaber hilt itself was very unique when compared to other weapons, as it was made of intertwining strips of Yorick coral, and in some things you can see her with 2 lightsabers, but it is noted that at least in this Legends continuity that I am going over, she only wielded 1 weapon. And yeah, basically everything in this video is from Legends, as this is a Legends character, so don't really expect anything in here to be taken too seriously in a canonical sense. Talon was also powerful with Force Lightning and Force Push, the former of which she used to execute Elk Vetter. Also, she might have been able to use a rare ability known as Force Concealment to hide from Princess Fel. The Sith was also a capable pilot that used a speeder bike on multiple occasions. And going into behind the scenes, Talon was created by John Ostrander and Jan Duursuma for the comic book series Star Wars Legacy. Darth Talon was used to promote the material and was shown on the covers of many issues as well as promotional posters at the press release. Her appearance was meant to depict a science fiction / fantasy version of a Pict warrior, who were a group of peoples that lived in England in the pre-Viking era, as she was intended to have sort of a primitive quality. When George Lucas began work on his sequel trilogy in 2012, before later selling Lucasfilm to Disney, Talon was created as one of the main villains alongside an old Darth Maul in the trilogy, and Lucas described her as the Darth Vader of the trilogy since she was in most of the action and was actually supposed to corrupt Han and Leia's son. Later, she would be adapted into Kylo Ren becoming Han's son instead of actually corrupting him. She is also featured in the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm, and was given a more family-friendly appearance as the game is targeted towards younger audiences. And honestly, good for them. I mean, I don't even mind the new design, and it's probably gotta get cold wearing that outfit all the time. I mean, can you imagine that on Hoth? But moving back into kind of their biography instead of the fun facts, after pursuing the princess and Cade to the planet Vindaxa, Darth Talon was part of a large battle between her and the two targets, as well as Jedi Wolf Sazena and Shadow Val, who she almost beat with her Force abilities, but was stopped by Fel, as well as Cade Skywalker, who surprised her by using the Force to hurl debris at the battle-heavy Sith. During this confrontation, Talon also rigged the Mynock with explosives and used the Force to summon a flock of Vanx beasts to attack her enemies. Even after Darth Nihil joined the fight, Darth Talon still lost her objective of capturing the Princess Fel, and expected to be executed back on Coruscant where Crate resided, but the Sith Emperor chose to spare Talon after learning of Skywalker's involvement. Later, Cade tried to rescue a fellow Jedi Hosk Trey-Lils from the Sith Temple on Coruscant, who was subdued by Darth Talon, who alongside Nihil was able to defeat Cade, who would be trained by Darth Krayt as the last bloodline of Darth Vader. Darth Talon was tasked with training the Force potential Jedi in the ways of the one Sith, and the two would grow close due to the Force bond they shared after Cade used Force healing to reopen Talon's recent wounds during his first meeting with Krayt and the other Sith. The Sith Lady was almost killed when Darth Krayt killed Trey-Lils after Cade refused to do so, and after this act, Skywalker had fought back and stabbed Talon through the stomach with a green lightsaber, which would cause her to spend some time in a Bacta tank. And years later, the Jedi would invade the temple yet again, and Cade Skywalker would begin a fight with Darth Krayt to end the war between the Jedi and Sith, which would, against Talon's best tries, result in the death of Krayt, as Skywalker's abilities were growing by the day, and he was really just becoming a very powerful force, which probably in part had something to do with Darth Talon's teachings, as she was a very important part in his training. Talon and the other Sith then went into hiding in the shadows as the galaxy morphed into the Galactic Federation Triumvirate. So really, people like the Princess Fel as well as Cade Skywalker were extremely important in Talon's kind of story. So I wonder if in the future it'll be explored in canon at all. Probably not. It'll probably just stay as kind of a Legends thing. That's just a cool idea, and it's cool. Most people really think about the Legends timeline when thinking about like the Old Republic and that kind of stuff, but there really is also a lot of cool stuff that takes place after the George Lucas stuff, even past the sequel trilogy. This took place around 138 ABY. But anyway, that's it for this video. You can subscribe if you want to. I upload every Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I also post shorts on Saturday. But yeah, see ya.